What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I filmed the video. It's been crazy with work and, you know, it's just life happening. So today we got a couple of scotches. Fairly new distillery, not that new, but Ardnamurchan distillery out of the Western Highlands region of Scotland. This is a small batch. They make a cask strength, but the same company, Adelphi, makes this. Also makes a blended whiskey. And it's the exact same bottle, same cork. They're very similar, so I figured instead of doing two reviews, we'd just put them both in one video. But this one's called Maclean's Nose. Both of them are non-chill filtered, natural color whiskeys. And that's what we get into today, guys. Check it out. We got two Adelphi whiskeys. Slightly peated Adelphi whiskeys from the West Highlands of Scotland. So both owned by Adelphi. This is their single malt. So it's Ardnamurchan. It's called AD. This is a small batch whiskey. They also make a cask strength. They're starting to come out with single barrels of it now. It's a fairly newer distillery, but not that new. Maybe like early 2000s. But for a Scotch whiskey distillery, it's fairly new. There's QR codes on the back of these things. They are very independent whiskeys. I say independent. I mean, they're independent whiskeys. It's independent bottler, Adelphi, but transparent is what I want to say. Transparent because you can scan this and it'll tell you exactly what's in the whiskey, what kind of X barrels it was, whether it was X sherry, X bourbon, what batch you got, where it was aged at. Like everything, like they are very transparent on when it comes to the making of the whiskey. They'll tell you like how many bottles were in the batch, and what bottle number you got. It's crazy. Like they tell you everything. There's a QR code in the back of this one too. Kind of does the same thing. Whereas this being a blended whiskey, it's probably more of a bigger batch. Whereas the single malt is a little bit more fine tuned per bottle. But that's about it. Both of them are. Natural color, non-chill filtered. I'll be honest with you, they are both pretty much the same color. If you look at it, this side is the single malt, and this is the blended whiskey. But if you look at it, I mean, maybe the blended whiskey is a little bit darker. I don't know. It's pretty much, they say you got a weird background, but they're pretty much the same color as far as I'm concerned. They look like the same whiskey. But we'll get into them. On the Ardnamurchan, there's not much on the bottle about, I think you got to scan that QR code for any kind of information on it. But they give you tasting notes. I had scanned it a while back. They give you tasting notes on it, which we're not going to go off of. We're going to go ahead and taste it ourselves. But they give you tasting notes. They give you how it was made, when it was made, when it was put into the bottle, and when it was barreled. But 46.8% ABV, and the Maclean's Nose, the blended whiskey, is 46%. So a little bit heavier on this one, not by much. They pretty much even. But let's get into the nose, guys. So Adelphi, independent bottler. They own both the Ardnamurchan distillery and the Maclean's Nose. They say it's more malt whiskey than it is grain whiskey, but they are more. They go into a little bit more fine tuning as far as making whiskey than like Buchanan's and the more well-known blended whiskeys and Johnny Walker, the more marketed stuff, which is going to be probably more grain whiskey than single malt. This one's well made. This is probably about 70% single malt and maybe 30% grain whiskey, and that's me giving an estimate. But if you scan the QR code, I think I scanned it a while back, I was surprised at how much single malt's actually in that, and as opposed to grain whiskey. But let's get into it. This is the single malt. This is the Ardnamurchan AD. Cheers, guys. So, bonfire peat on the nose. Not quite as much as an Islay whiskey, but this is the first whiskey I have of the night, so that peat's out there. But also sweet. So, it smells like If you ever smoke the ham and put pineapple and cherry on top in the middle of the pineapple, that's what it smells like. A smoked ham, though. Real sweet, smoky, and almost like a sweet and sour with that smoke and the sweetness, kind of like a ginger quality where you have to smelt that like ground ginger. All right, let's taste it, guys. Cheers. The taste is the nose amplified. So, man, that peat is good. That peat hangs on for a little bit. I can still taste it kind of rolling through the finish a little bit. Not a long finish on it, but that's the last thing you do taste is the peat on it. It's good though. Kind of the same thing on the nose. It's like that grilled, almost charred fruit flavor. You get the smoke, that peat's on there. Like a ginger quality, like a sweet and sour almost. Get a little bit of charred wood. I would say like pineapple is a good note for it. Charred pineapple. A little hit of cherry. Maybe a little bit of fresh fruit, like some like stone fruit, like a apricot or pear or something like that. But that smoke is the last thing. Smoke and char is the last thing you get. But it's not as smoky as you would think. Like it's not Ardbeg smoky, but it's got that kind of peat in it, just dialed down a little bit. It's good. It's balanced. But that's good whiskey. Let's get into the blended whiskey. So this is the Maclean's nose. This one on the back, actually, it does have some tasting notes and a little bit about the whiskey, but it's written so small it's hard to read. So tasting notes they give in is burnt citrus peel, sea salt, white chocolate, and bonfire. Okay, that makes sense. My friends know that blended Scotch is my go-to dram. This blend has been rigorously assembled to have a West Coast character with a high salt content. No, that's weird. High malt content. It's written so small. Look. Probably looks like, man, this dude came and It's written so small in this bottle that I can barely see it. High malt content and a high proportion of ex-sherry cask. Okay. I am proud to be part of it. All right. So they're saying high malt content as compared to grain whiskey and ex-sherry cask. So on the nose of the blended whiskey, it's not as pronounced as far as the Scotch, like the single malt. The single malt, it separates the nose, I guess. You get a little bit of bonfire. You can smell the ginger in it. The fruit's kind of separated. You can smell each one. This one, it's hard to pick out notes. I do get a little hit of bonfire. It's got a little bit slight sweetness, but it doesn't smell as sweet as this whiskey. So I can see where I get sherry with the, it's kind of like fruity nose, kind of like plum a little bit. You get that kind of sulfur sherry note. Maybe I get their coastal kind of sea salt note. But everything's kind of, it's more put together, I guess, more rounded instead of just one separate little thing. Let's get a taste on it, guys. Cheers. Damn. So on the flavor, I don't get as much peat than the single malt. It's more rounded. You get a little hit of peat and malty sweetness. So you're getting that like a sherry note to it. It's a little bit, but not like berry sherry, but like almost like plums or something like that. Just fresh fruit, but it's more rounded. Let's get another taste, guys. Yeah, that's good. It's hard to pick out the taste in it. I know they say an orange peel. On the tasting notes, they gave orange peel, white chocolate, bonfire. Maybe like that's what I'm getting with the sweetness, because it tastes sweeter than this one, but maybe I'm getting like a white chocolate, more of a desserty kind of a whiskey, but it's more rounded, if that makes sense. For it being a blended whiskey, it's got a little grain whiskey to it that sweetens it up a little bit and rounds it out. Finish is shorter than the single malt, but it's more rounded. So most blended whiskeys are made as a mixer to mix with to make mixed drinks or drinking on ice, whereas single malts is made to drink neat most of the time. But this one, man, this is a good sipping whiskey to drink neat. Honestly, I'd sit down and have a sip of this, have a pour. And I never thought, but I actually like this better than the single malt, which is crazy. Like it's just rounded. Where if you want something more interesting, the single malt will be it, I guess. But price point on it, $60 to $65 on the single malt. And the blended whiskey, believe it or not, is $32. That's cheaper than most highly marketed blended whiskeys on the market. But blended scotches on the market for sure. $32. It's good. I didn't think I'd like the blended whiskey more than the single malt, but I do. It just fits the my taste profile anyway. But I like the peat on this though. That single malt is more peaty, but the roundedness of that blended whiskey is so good. So whiskey Couyons rating on it. Man, Ardnamurchan's good. So $60 on that Ardnamurchan. It's $60 whiskey. $32 for the Maclean's nose. I'm gonna give it the Ardnamurchan single malt, Ardnamurchan AD. We're gonna give it a 7. I like it. For the price, for $60, it's good. But is it the best thing I've had for $60? Probably not. But it's right there. It's comparable. Like I'd buy that again. I think if I ran out of a bottle, I'd pick one up. I have to be in the mood for it for $60, $65, and add shipping to it because they're hard to find. That's the problem with these two whiskeys. But you're not gonna find it sitting on the shelf. More than likely, you probably have to like pick it up online. That's that's another thing about it. But Maclean's nose for $32. I'd probably give that a 7.5. Like it's a half a point better than that Ardnamurchan just for it being more rounded and $32. You really can't go wrong with it. That would be a buy again for sure. If you're online shopping for whiskey and you see it, I'd pick that one up for $32. Especially if you get a couple of bottles. That way the shipping's kind of offset on it. That'd be the way to go. But good whiskeys from Adelphi. I'll be looking for other stuff from that independent bottler. That's some good stuff. Got a lot of whiskeys left to make reviews on. I'm kind of backlogged on that. They have a few whiskeys I wanted to get out, and this one's getting really low, and I wanted to hold off on drinking it because I want to do a review on it and kind of share my thoughts on that whiskey before I finish off the bottle. So that's about when I start doing whiskeys. I'm like, I got to do a review on that. It's getting a little low. But that's what we got on the channel, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys in the next video.